Welcome to another episode of Equity Mates. Watchlist Wednesday is the theme for today, as always, because it's Wednesday. My name is Bryce, and as always, I'm joined by my equity buddy, Ren. How are you going?
I'm very good, Bryce. Good to be back for another Wednesday.
Yep.
We don't play favourites here, but if we did, this would be our favourite episode of the week.
Yes.
A great opportunity to speak to some experts and hear about some stocks that are on their watch list.
Yep.
So probably no time like the present. Let's get stuck in.
Absolutely. So we're welcoming back to Equity Mates Jason McIntosh, founder of motiontrader.com.au, who has plenty of experience in markets building algorithms, and we spoke to Jason yesterday about momentum. So keen to see how that translates into some stock picks. So Jason, welcome back.
Bryce, Ren, great to be back.
Glad you came back.
Missed it.
So, look, one thing that we briefly wanted to touch on before we jump into the stocks, and we do want to give that most of the time today, is how you're thinking about reporting season at the moment. We know that we're in the midst of it here in Australia, and we've just seen a lot of focus over in the US as well. And for Ren and I, it's very much about what the companies are saying and doing. How do you approach it as a momentum investor?
Yeah, it's interesting because I've got quite a different take on like how it all works, because I don't really follow the reporting calendar as your classic fundamental analyst would. For me, it's all about what the momentum in the share price is and looking at how the price action is responding to the news rather than what the day-to-day news is. And it's what I do find interesting though is that the trend is often validated by the news that comes out. So, for example, Telstra came out with their result last week. It was a really good result. Now, Telstra's a stock I've been following closely for a few months now, because it triggered my momentum indicators back in, I think it was February, around $3.20. And it's been in a solid uptrend since then. And when a stock's in an uptrend, more often than not, you see that the news flow tends to be positive, and that's very much what happened with that result last week. We saw that positive news flow come out. Doesn't always work. Sometimes the market gets blindsided, but the news tends to go on the side of the trend. So look, I'm just watching the momentum in the stocks at the moment. I may look at some individual announcements, but it's not my key focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's fascinating how different investing styles look at information differently or prioritize different data points. It's a really good lesson for Bryce and I that there's plenty of ways to make money in the market and plenty of investing styles that work, and it's about finding which one works for you and suits your, I guess, investing temperament. But Jason, we're here to talk about 3 stocks on your watch list, and we're excited to get into those. If we start with the first one that we've spoken a little bit about on the podcast, the Equity Mates podcast, and that is Atomos, ASX ticker AMS. For people who are unfamiliar with the company, can you tell us a little bit about what it does and then why it's on your watch list?
Yeah, well, look, it came to my attention through my market scans. And it's only got a market cap of around $250 million, so it's not in the all ordinaries. But what's so interesting with momentum is that when you look behind the momentum, you look at what's causing the momentum, you can often find some really interesting stories. And look, so Atomos is a case in point. So what they do is they produce these monitor recorders that connect to a camera. And what they do is they create quality content quickly that's of high quality, and it's also affordable to create. And the popular uses for this content include things like could be YouTube or social media, TV, even cinema can be done using these monitors. And like a key growth driver for the company has been through this technology Apple has called ProRes RAW. And so what that's all about is it essentially takes a large video file and it compresses it down to a small size. but it does that whilst maintaining the quality of the output. And Atomos is the only company which is currently licensed to natively use this technology. And the technology's had a really impressive uptake. So Atomos says that nearly all the major camera makers are now embracing this ProRes RAW tech. And then as it becomes the industry standard, they're saying that this is going to really fuel the growth in their products. And as well as growing their existing product range, another really interesting thing they're doing is around gaming and video conferencing. And because we know like both of these need high quality video. And so the company's seeing a really significant opportunity here in that, like this is the thing with COVID. So COVID's been really bad for some industries and it's been really positive for others. So with video conferencing, for example, it's Atomos is saying it's fast-track video conferencing by maybe 3 to 5 years. And so they really see an opportunity developing in this market to expand the technology that they're currently using in their monitors. Financially, it's going really well. It's looking particularly interesting. The numbers look really good. They recently had a trading update came out, and they're expecting total sales of around $77 million for the 2021 financial year. And that's up 73% on the previous year. And this is the thing with these small to mid-cap companies. You can get these really big increases in growth. And this is what makes, for me anyway, makes them really so exciting and so interesting. And the second half result was a standout. It was up something like 270% on the same period last year. And so it was also the strongest half in the company's history. So look, they're doing some really good things financially. COVID saw their revenue drop in the 2019-2020 year. But you step back from that, look at their revenue since 2015, and this company's been consistently increasing their revenue. So look, they've got a good track record of executing on their plans, growing the business. I think this is a company that could do really well over the next few years. Strong balance sheet, around $23 million in cash. So that's looking good. And look, the other thing I really like about this is that management have a strong stake in the business. And look, I think it's always a good sign when you see the people behind the company backing it with their own money. It's particularly in these smaller to mid-cap stocks. It's a good story is one thing, but you want to see management on board that story as well. So I think Atomos is it is a high potential stock that could see some great things come out of the next couple of years.
Nice one, Jason. So that's Atomos, AMS. We will have to move on to the next one, which is Kleos Space, KSS. Are you able to tell us why that's on your watch list?
Yeah. I love a good space story, and this is a good one. It's look. So what these guys are doing is they're an emerging player in the space industry, and they're using clusters of satellites to collect radio frequency data across maritime areas, around the globe. And what they do then is that they use that data to geolocate illegal or hidden activities. So this could be things like people or drug smuggling, border breaches, illegal fishing. So it's got broad applications across defence, security, maritime intelligence, potentially even search and rescue. So some really interesting technology. And how it all works is they initially launched a cluster of 4 satellites. It was in November last year, and the company's planning to do 2 more clusters of satellites sometime around now and then later in the year to give them a total of 3 clusters and 12 satellites. And they're targeting 20 clusters all up. So look, they're trying to grow quite a big reach around the globe. And what they do, it's they send them up in Elon Musk's SpaceX, these Falcon 9 rockets. So and this is a great thing about space now, is it's becoming so much more accessible to these smaller companies. Like once you would have had to book a space shuttle flight with NASA to get a satellite into orbit. Now you go up on a Falcon X. So it's becoming a lot more accessible. And look, they say they've got strong demand from Coast Guards, Navies, Border Control. They're targeting 50 active subscribers by year end with a pipeline of about 160. And what's so exciting about this is that this is just such a big market. The management's saying that the market for geospatial technology, it's forecast to grow to 550 billion, 550 billion US dollars by 2025. And so Klaus is only a $150 million market cap company. So if they can, again, execute on these plans and really get some good uptake of its technology, well, look, this is a company which also has significant upside potential. And yeah, look, they're moving into operational status now. They're expecting annualized revenue of $7 million by the end of the year. So look, I think this is a company with what we call strong asymmetric risk. It's part of a wider portfolio. You can manage your risk quite well with this, and then have considerable upside if it all comes together.
Yeah, it's a fascinating company, Jason. It's definitely part of a trend that is really fascinating the Equity Mates community for good reasons. So definitely one for people to have a look at themselves. If we move to the final company on your watch list, and this is one that I haven't heard of before, so I'm excited to hear a little bit about it. ReadyTech Holdings, ASX ticker RDY. Can you tell us a little bit about the company and why it's on your watch list?
Yeah, now this is a fun thing about Momentum, because Momentum, you find stocks which you've never heard of before. So I hadn't heard of Klaus or Atomos or ReadyTech prior to them triggering signals, and this is what Momentum can do. It provides the ideas, and even if you're a fundamental investor and you don't want to be pure momentum, you're using the momentum to find the ideas, and then you can drill down on that ideas and do the fundamental overlays and work out whether it fits your own investment metrics, what you're after. So this company, market cap of about $260 million, not in the all ordinaries. But and you can see I'm really following this theme of the small to mid caps. It's Momentum will uncover the big ones too, but these smaller ones I find are the most interesting with the most growth potential. So what these guys do, they provide cloud and services as software platforms, and they're specializing in payroll and human resource management. So they're targeting the employment and educational sectors. They've got around 4,000 customers across small to large companies. And what I really like about this sort of services as software model is that, so instead of downloading the software, you're using an app that you're accessing through the internet. So what that often leads to is that it all leads to subscription-based recurring revenue. And these are great models if you can get your clients coming back. And this is very much the case with ReadyTech. They've got 89% of their revenue is recurring, and the big plus here for them is they've got a 95% retention rate. So they're really hanging on to those customers. So this is really the key to a successful subscription-based business. They recorded good growth recently. It was up 13% to around 22 million in the first half. And look, combination of winning new customers, cross-selling to existing customers, so got good products to sell. And management says there's this digital transformation really taking place. And they're seeing a lot of their customers move from the old technology across to the new cloud-based services. And they're also growing through acquisition. So they recently bought this company called Open Office. So what Open Office is all about, it's an integrated software business that does stuff with state and local governments as well as the judicial system. And these areas are seeing this digitalization happen at record rates. And what's recently happened is, so you'd probably be familiar with Technology One, big ASX listed company, market cap of about 2.9 billion. And ReadyTech's been winning pitches against Technology One because they're in the same sort of space. So this is a really, it's a great thing when the small guy comes in and starts winning pitches against the big established player. So I think, again, one of these smaller companies with a lot of growth potential, and management also have quite a large stake in the company. I think management collectively owns around 20% of the company, or about nine. What is it? It's maybe about 20 million worth of the company, or about 9% of the stock. So that's a sizable stake. A good endorsement from the management on what they're doing. Again, one of those companies you don't need a lot of it in your portfolio to potentially get quite a big return if they're successful in executing. and well worth keeping an eye on.
Love it, Jason. Well, that does bring us to the end of Watchlist Wednesday. So a reminder there, we had Klaus Space, KSS, Atomos, AMS, and ReadyTech Holdings, RDY, all on the ASX. So look, it's been a very interesting hearing about your approach when it comes to momentum investing. Certainly something that we haven't discussed a lot of here on Equity Mates. So I'm hoping that our community opened to a new strategy that they might have otherwise not been aware of. So we appreciate your time.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me on.
And that brings us to the end of Watchlist Wednesday. As always, we will have plenty of content coming up tomorrow with a final expert.
That's right. Join us as we talk. We've done fundamental, we've done momentum, and we're going to close out the week with technical analysis. So join us tomorrow, same time, same place, and we'll get stuck into that.